Being a pitcher with elbow issues is like being an Irish person who drinks. It's become more common than the common cold. Left-handed, right-handed, no matter how hard you throw, no matter how much you throw, starter, reliever, if you're a human being, pick up a baseball and step on a mound, you're gonna have elbow problems and surgery. Yet, miraculously, there's one man who, despite not just being a big league pitcher for the last 15 years, but being the hardest throwing pitcher for those 15 years, has avoided any serious elbow issues. In fact, he's barely had any at all, or with his arm, and that's Aroldis Chapman. The man is heading into his age 37 season in 2025, what will be his 16th year in the big leagues, and he's still throwing one of, if not the hardest fastballs in the league with ease. He just signed with Boston for a one-year deal, and this is literally every Red Sox fan right now, especially Jared Carabas, as you can clearly see. And again, he may be a grizzled 37-year-old veteran, and sure, he's not quite the same guy from his earlier years, but in some ways he still is. His fastball still reaches over 100 miles an hour, and it's never failed to in any of Chapman's 15 years, just like your finger shouldn't fail to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy these videos and haven't yet. It's crazy because throwing triple digits isn't even necessarily special anymore. So many guys seem to do it, but what's made Chapman so special is what he hasn't done amongst all these years, which is have any serious elbow or overall arm issues at all. This dude throws 100 miles an hour year after year after year after year. How in God's name has his arm not blown off yet, like a sandcastle in a tornado? It really is miraculous. Let's look at some of the hardest throwers in baseball. Craig Kimbrell had a fastball that reached 100 miles an hour for 8 straight seasons, but that's old news considering it hasn't reached that since 2018. Nathan Eovaldi has had a triple-digit fastball up his sleeve in most of his 13 seasons, and even if it's not 100, it's obviously still hard, upper 90s, mid upper 90s, but he's also been on the 60-day injured list 5 different times throughout his career and 2 Tommy John surgeries. Garrett Cole's had a big fastball his whole career, with it mostly going over 100. He's someone who's defied the odds with the lack of any arm issues, but he's also been on the 60-day injured list twice, with this past season being Cole's biggest elbow scare, and he had to miss a lot of the year because of it. Then you have Jacob deGrom, who seems like a good side-by-side comparison with Chapman in terms of body types. deGrom was the hardest throwing starting pitcher for years, but we all know how that ended up, at least for now. His 4 different trips to the 60-day injured list and his second Tommy John surgery. But when you look at deGrom and the way he's built, you can understand why his elbow would break down. He may throw incredibly hard, but it's also way too hard for his own body to handle. Now, throwing a baseball as hard as any of these guys do isn't natural for anybody to handle, period. Not just exclusive to certain guys, obviously, as everyone has these issues, but why not Chapman? Not only has he reached 100 miles an hour with his fastball in all 15 of his seasons, he's also hit 101 in every single one of them. Trevor Rosenthal's 6 seasons in a row with a 101 mile an hour fastball in the tank is the second most in the pitch tracking era. It lasted from 2012 through 2017, where he then hurt his elbow and hasn't touched it since. Because Rosenthal is a normal person. Chapman clearly is not. How is he not ending up like Rosenthal, deGrom, or any of these other guys? Well, as Chapman's increased in age, he's also increased in muscles. His arm is a literal weapon he probably has to check at the TSA, and I don't know if that matters, but maybe that partially has to do with his elbow and shoulder not breaking down. He's built his arm and overall body in a better shape to be able to consistently still throw as hard as he did 10 years ago. Chapman's fastball reached up to 102 in his first 11 seasons before failing to hit it in 2022, only for him to get back to that in 2023. He's also had 11 different seasons where he's thrown 103 miles an hour or harder, and 8 different where it's reached 104. Chapman's thrown more 103, 104, and 105 mile an hour pitches than all other MLB pitchers combined in the pitch tracking era, which began in 2008. He's thrown more than double as many 99, 100, 101, and 102 mile per hour pitches as any other MLB pitcher since that same year, and he's also thrown more 97 and 98 mile per hour pitches than any other pitcher. I mean, this man has morphed into a video game character with injury and age settings off, because somehow through all of this ridiculous heat through 4 different presidential terms, Chapman's only spent a total of 11 days on the injured list with a sore left elbow back in 2021 and a month on the injured list in 2017 with rotator cuff soreness. That's it. Those are the only times his elbow or shoulder or arm at all have taken him off the field. Chapman's been hurt more by literally anything and everything. He's had a broken eye socket due to a comebacker, missed time with a sore knee, and another time with Achilles tendonitis. Bro even missed time with an infected tattoo. Just inventing new ways to get hurt, but avoiding the ultimate injury every pitcher fears and is expected to suffer at some point sooner or later. Is Aroldis Chapman as dominant as he once was? No. As of right now, the Red Sox aren't getting the same guy who got Cy Young votes with the Reds and all-star appearances galore. Chapman's become more of a guy you feel you should take a flyer on just because of his stuff being too good to ignore. He hasn't had an ERA under 3 since 2019, which used to be the norm for him and even the bare minimum. He's really struggled with walks in the later years of his career, and with that, of course, comes trouble. But the potential to at least get somewhat of prime Aroldis Chapman is still there, and the tempting reason why 4 teams have since decided to give him a chance since his Yankee days. Mainly the strikeout stuff. It's incredible. Even in his last couple seasons, which weren't very good, Chapman still averaged about 15 strikeouts per 9 innings in both years combined. That is absurd. Tanner Scott, someone largely looked at as the best reliever this past season, had a strikeout rate of 10.5. Ryan Helsley, he led all of baseball in saves, a 10.7 strikeout rate. Emmanuel Clase, the man who had a freaking 0.61 ERA, his strikeout rate was 8. Yes, strikeouts aren't everything, and there's a reason those 3 guys had better overall years than Chapman. But Chapman's strikeout stuff and ability to miss bats still being as elite as it was in his prime is insane. And just like the Royals, Rangers, Pirates, and now Red Sox are hoping, if he can lower the walks and settle that stuff down, he could be back to the best. And as of now, there's no reason to be wary of any serious injuries that would prevent him from at least getting out there and trying to become the best again. Somehow, some way, in a time where getting elbow surgery or having serious arm issues is practically part of what it takes to be a pitcher, and there's like no avoiding it, Aroldis Chapman has just straight up refused to be lumped into that norm, while simultaneously being the hardest throwing pitcher his entire career. So much to the point that to this day, Aroldis Chapman, a 15-year Major League veteran, has missed more time on the injured list because of a tattoo infection throughout those 15 years than he ever has because of his elbow. Simply nobody does it like Aroldis Chapman, and I don't know if we ever see someone or something like this ever again. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching.